Exactly. So, Shashank, this was about how you started and then where you did your BCA from and then the journey in NIT. Now we will come to the part where you actually started working for Geeks for Geeks as a technical writer. So, tell us about that part. How did you come to know about Geek for Geeks? What was the process of interview and what was your responsibilities while working as a technical writer?
Yeah, see, so this technical content writing, there is a really interesting story behind it. So
Okay.
when companies started coming for placements, right? So like I wasn't able to crack even first written round of those companies. Like many big companies went and won, and I wasn't able. Like they were Amazon, Adobe, SAP Labs,
So, what
Microsoft.
what
I
was the
wasn't
first round? It was general aptitude or coding round?
like online coding, pen paper coding. That's how they were used to conduct it, right? So I wasn't able to even crack the first written round, right? So
Okay.
I was really disappointed at that time. Like, what is going wrong?
Mhm.
And I was really scared about this part. Like in the last semester, you have to do a like internship, something like that. So one day I was just surfing this like on Facebook. So there was a page of Geeks for Geeks as well. So
Right.
their founder Sandeep Jain. So I saw a post like we are looking for interns who are like capable of writing good contents on like, data structures, problem solving algorithms. So for that, the basic requirement was like you have to submit two articles first, like
Okay.
that they should be like completely means by your own understanding, like it shouldn't be copied from somewhere else,
Right.
right? So try to create your own article, try to write your own algorithm, your own code. So I submitted two articles, and
Okay.
they liked it, they published it on their platform, and yeah, from that point I was engaged with Geeks for Geeks as a technical content writer. And then I started writing because as I said, I was into this
Mhm.
programming part as well. I was liking it, so I was good into it. So I started it because I wasn't able to like crack the company's round. So I thought at least I should start something for my future. At least I wasn't sure like what company I would be able to make it, but at
Right.
least I should start something. Maybe not this. Maybe I could start my career as a full-time content writer as well. But
Mhm.
at college point of time, I started it as a hobby, you can say, or as an alternative for me, right? So that's
Right.
how I
So,
started it.
Shashank, if you could just throw more light on, so when you say technical content writer, what exactly do you write for people who do not know this
Yeah,
part?
so for technical content writer, so that is basically related to any specialization, or you are basically writing technical things about a particular domain, right?
Okay.
So let's say I'm a big data guy. If I have to write any technical content about big data, so I'll be writing about different frameworks, or I'll be writing different approaches, like
Right.
core technical things, not just elaborating in like in terms of you can say English paragraph. Just I need to elaborate in terms of solution, in terms of its technicality as well. Like
Right. Right.
if programming is needed for that, I have to write the code for it. If
Mm-hmm.
any algorithm is needed, I have to write the algorithm. I have to like implement it. I have to showcase the running algorithm of it. So that's how that does actually this content technical content writing mean. That means you
Right.
are showcasing a technical aspect of a particular field.
Right. And you worked with uh, Geeks for Geeks. That was an internship for 6 months, right?
Yeah, so like I was writing articles, so there was not fixed amount for that. There wasn't any fixed stipend. I was
Mm-hmm.
getting paid for my articles. Like for every articles they use at that point of time, they used to pay me $500.
Okay.
So right now, more than 250 plus articles are available on their site, which are written by
Okay.
me.
That's really
Yeah,
nice. And we will provide a link of that in the description also, so that students
yeah,
can go and actually learn from it.
yeah.
And
So that
Shashank, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so I was saying like that's how I started this like technical content writing. And from that point, like even I guided my juniors too as well, like, yeah guys, this is the platform, this is a really good platform, you guys are, because in my juniors they were really good coders, so I discussed with them, guys, this is the platform, they guys used to pay as well. If you are writing a good content, they will pay you good amount for that. Whatever you have learned till now, just showcase it to them and start contributing to that, so that other freshers or other new folks who are looking for good content or good problem solving solutions, they could read your articles.
Exactly.
So they started at as well, and like it went viral like a chain. Then everybody started doing that.
Right. And one more thing about when you learn something and you actually write it formally is that it also again clears your understanding about that concept, whether it's data structure, like binary tree, whatever the concept you're writing about. And one more thing that I really, liked, Shashank, about you was that many people, after you worked so hard and made it into NIT, but then not getting an internship offer from your campus can be a bit disappointing. But still, you tried, you got that job from Geeks for Geeks. And there are many people, who want to start with dream companies, but it can happen that not everybody might be able to do it. But then you keep on working hard and eventually you will get it. So this is not something they should get disappointed about. If they've really worked hard, they will eventually get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like Amazon was my dream company, and it was the first company for campus. I wasn't able to crack its written round. I was really disappointed. Right. But what I didn't I didn't get demoralized. I wasn't able to crack it. So I thought I should work more hard. I should learn from my mistakes. And when I was in IT industry, so when I was making my first switch, that was spending 1.5 years in my first company, was looking for a switch. I again tried for Amazon. At that time, I got rejected from third round. Again, I was disappointed, but I was really happy that when that company was in campus, I wasn't able to crack even the first round. Now in the second attempt, I have cracked 3 rounds. So I was it was a mixed emotion for me. I was happy, I was disappointed a bit again. But again, I did a self-analysis. I did what went wrong, where I did mistakes. I learned from that. And again, this 2020 January, I again applied for that role in Amazon, and in this time I was able to clear all the 6-7 rounds, and I made it to my dream company.
That is really amazing, and we will obviously come to that part in very much more detail. So after you worked with Geeks for Geeks for 6 months, then you started your first full-time job with Opera Solutions. With the company name is Opera Solutions now. Right now it has been changed to it's Electref AI and limited liability company. Okay.
Yeah.
And you worked with this company for almost around 1.5 years, right? So how did that happen? Did that come into your campus, or you got it off campus? And what were the nature of rounds for that?
Yeah, actually. So as I said, starting first 5-6 companies, I wasn't able to even crack the first round.
Right.
Then this was Opera Solutions was 6th or 7th company. And I was just thinking, God, please, I need just one chance. I want to appear in interviews.
Right.
Just give me one chance. So, and round of nature of rounds was first round was this pen paper round. It was aptitude, where technical questions there as well, and some reasoning questions as well. So fortunately, that was the first round I cracked it in my written rounds. And then after that, Opera was really good. Till now, I mean, in 3.5 years of my career, I have been through many companies and many interviews. But even if I compare that rounds which I given in my college time, I really will place it here, and means if I compare with other companies rounds nowadays for experience guy. So that kind of level of interview I face at that point of time, right? So and I was not very good in communication, to be true, right? I
Okay.
was because I came from such background where I didn't get that environment to learn this thing, because communication is such thing which you cannot learn, you cannot read, and if you are not getting an environment, you have
Exactly.
not such environment where time to time presentations are getting conducted, time to time you are getting a chance to speak in front of huge audience, right? So I was not really good in communication, but I was like 50-50 kind of guy. I was able to express myself. Like I was able to communicate at least such level that I could express my approach. I could express my thoughts, right? So the first round was, I mean, with the VP of company, right? So that was like a normal discussion, normal technical, most of related to my background and the curriculum. So it was like 15-20 minutes of round for me, and we cracked it again, and then appeared for a second round. That was a core coding round. That was a core coding round, and the basics I was talking about, the OOPS concept, DBMS, the operating system, few puzzles, but most of the part of it was oriented to the this coding part. So he asked me questions. One was like related to arrays, and second was like graph theory. So I was able to solve both of the questions, and that was a really good round. Like it took around 1 hour 30 minutes for that round. So it was really good discussion with the interviewer. He is my mentor now as well.
Okay.
Like Dikshit Raj, who took my second round in Opera. So whatever I have learned till now, that is because of that guy, Dikshit Rajpura, and I really admire him. I'm a really big fan. So yeah, and again, on the round with that was also like mixed round coding and puzzle. So in even third round, he asked me a graph related question like traveling salesman problem, and a few DBMS concept, few OOPS related concept, and a small puzzle. And in fourth round, it was like a project discussion, moreover a project discussion that I did, and few puzzles and few aptitude questions. And like I waited for at least 1 hour after giving these 4 rounds. Then HR came, and she told me like, hey Shank, you are hired, just come inside, we will have HR. So that was a really amazing feeling. Like I was just hugging my friends who were around there, and I was just crying. Like even my friends who were really close to me, they were really happy that after like so many attempts, like not tracking the rounds of different companies, and now I got a one chance to appear in interview and I made it. So that was a really, really big moment for me. I can't express it actually, and whenever I like feel disappointed in my life, I used to remember that moment, like how happy I was and what kind of hard work I did for that moment. So that's how like I appeared for Opera Solutions and I started with Opera.
So as Shashank, as you've told me, first round was a general aptitude round. Second was the interview with the VP, which was more of a discussion. Third was a coding round, and fourth was with HR.
Yeah, fourth was like mixed coding and CS fundamentals. Fifth was like project related and aptitude, and sixth was HR round.
Okay, and now one important question, Shashank. So while you were in that main round where you were being asked puzzle questions, data structure questions, so in those times, did you think that because you had very strong fundamentals, you from the very beginning, as you have told me, you concentrated on building a very good base, so that really helped? Or were there any parts where you felt यार ये तो शायद पढ़ा नहीं था, ये तो थोड़ा ऐसा होता है ना कभी-कभी, हाँ पढ़ा तो था, याद नहीं आ रहा है, and that is because your fundamentals are not strong?
So that's why I would say I didn't feel that. That's
Okay.
why, like, I was just asking. I said I was asking, just God, I need one chance to appear in interview, because I was really confident from inside. Like, I have worked so hard on my basics and fundamentals. So if I would get a chance to appear in at least one interview,
Mhm.
I'll surely make it into it, right? So
Right.
I didn't feel that, yeah, I do not know something or I'm not able to come up with the approach. So yeah, that those basics and those fundamentals really helped me a lot.
And as you have told me, almost everything is important. Coding is one part, then knowing the database is another part, knowing operating system is another part, networking
Yeah,
is another part. So you need to have very strong base in almost all of these, right? So, or you might have limited knowledge, but whatever knowledge you have, because you can tell the interviewer that I know this part from networking, but I know it really well. I think that is
yeah,
something also there. And one more thing that I would like to tell, I think it was stuck, so I'll just repeat that part.
yeah. No,
Yeah. So what I was saying was, for example, like you have told me, almost everything is important. Whatever you are learning, whether it's networking, database, whether you talk about operating system, and whatever you know, because the knowledge is really vast, but whatever amount of limited information that you have, be very, very specific and very thorough with that, because that is something that
yeah,
they will appreciate. That he might knows
exactly.
about four things, but he knows really well. And one more thing that I would like to tell the viewers and students, whoever are watching this, that even if Shashank, let's say, tells that this was a question asked to me, let's say the question was on 8 queens, then that wouldn't help. The basic idea is that build very good fundamentals, understand
Exactly.
why we require a binary tree, right? Because these things are actually solving a hell lot of real life problems. How Facebook manages so much of data, how Amazon manages so much of data, and these concepts are applied in real world. And that is
Right.
something that the interviewers check, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was your stint with Opera Solutions, and then you started working with, you worked with them for almost 1.5 years, right? So how was the learning there? Did you feel that whatever I had learned in my NIT, in my college, I could actually see applying that?
Yeah. I I must say, like, whatever time I spent with Opera, that was really good for me, in terms of, because I was really fortunate that I got such company who was working on a booming technology, that was big data, right?
Right.
So I was really fortunate. So I got a chance to work on different projects, like some giant vendors, like I worked for a client who is basically a leading airlines of America, right? And a big pharmaceutical company and big finance company. So I was really fortunate to work for those projects, and I learned a lot in big data, right?
Right.
I I basically worked on different challenges, because first of all, this field was really new to me.
Right.
Although concepts or whatever I've learned in my college days, that was applicable there. Like, I used to write a code. There was like coding needed. Then I have to think about those fundamentals which I learned in my college days, right?
Mm-hmm.
But learning these tech stacks, learning these frameworks, what big data is, how these cloud services are working together, how backend services are communicating together, and what kind of different use cases available in big data, how visualization is working, how ETL is working. So I had to learn a lot of things, like, in Opera. And as I said, I was really fortunate to had mentors like Vikas Kumar. He was like analytics manager, and
Right.
Dikshit Rajkova, he was my tech lead in my project. So they really guided me well. Like, yeah, Shashank, as a fresher, first you should learn this thing. First you should learn Hadoop, not Spark. So that's how they guided me to improve my skill sets in this big data domain.
Right.
And and apart from that, whatever I learned, that is because of the challenging projects I have worked upon. So there
Right.
were a lot of challenges in each and every project. Every project had different requirements and different logics to build with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that helped me a lot to enhance my skills in this big data. And as a professional, employee, I enhanced myself. Like I said, I was not good in communication, but as Opera, it was a like services company, and they were like their presence were in across the globe. Their clients were from foreigners. So I was like taking this initiative to get involved in the meetings with client, involved with a discussion, so that I could improve myself on professional part as well. I could improve my communication. I could like enhance myself as overall personality, not as a core developer, as a like let's say overall personality in IT industry. So that's like these are the things I learned in Opera and in 1 year.
And Shashank, I must say, right now you are a very confident speaker. The way you are speaking, you have really improved a lot. So now, Shashank, you worked with Opera Solutions, and then your journey started with a company which almost everybody knows, that is Paytm. So how did that happen? And again, the same questions remain. The nature of rounds, how did you get to know about it? Tell us about that part.
So after that, like spending good amount of time in Opera, so everybody like makes switches to look for other challenging skills, other challenging projects, right?
Exactly.
So I started looking for those opportunities. As I said, I tried for Amazon as well at that point of time, but wasn't able to make it. I appeared with Tokopedia as well. That is also a giant e-commerce company in Asia, right? So I appeared for that. I was like got rejected from last round. That was with VP of Tokopedia, but fine. I learned from my mistakes. Then I got a chance to interview with Paytm for data engineering role. So sorry. So the first round was basically like technical discussion round, like some basic coding questions and questions around SQL queries, and some questions, basic questions regarding the specialization, like in big data and related to big data frameworks. So in first round, those kind of questions were there. In second round, it was like with like senior, not manager level guy, right? So in that round, he basically, again, it was a mix, like technical plus project discussions, whatever I've done till now in my career. So he asked me one coding questions related to linked list, and he asked me a few fundamentals of Spark, like how Spark works and what is transformations and how joins work, what is broadcasting, some basics fundamentals of Spark and big data. And then he discussed about my project, like what I have done in my projects, what challenges I face, what tech stack I use. So such kind of discussions were there. And third round was with basically hiring manager. So that was like completely real world situation based. He used to put different situations in front of me, like we have this use case and we want to implement this. What would be your approach, right? How would you solve it? Such kind of questions, like managerial kind of, not technical too much, but some sort of managerial discussions were there. And then the fourth round was with like HR. So that was very normal, like related to the compensations, and she was trying to judge me, like whether I'm a good fit for a company or not, like based upon her questions. So like in total there were 4 rounds, and it was like a good experience for me to work for Paytm. So in Paytm I was part of like core data warehousing team, like whatever verticals right now Paytm is working upon. So we were the one who were handling everything in terms of data, creating scalable pipelines and provide data to our for the downstream systems and transform data to all different business verticals to perform their analytical sort of stuff. So that was the thing. I spent around 1 year in Paytm. So in Paytm, there were like a startup kind of culture, but I really liked that as well, because that growed my skill, that enhanced my skills. Because on every day you have to work in a firefighting mode, right?
Right.
Like anything can break, and that could impact the business, because that was like Paytm is a B2C kind of thing, right? So you cannot bear this. Like you have to um, uh, your business has to up all the time. So we couldn't afford this thing to like break, like breakage, or you can say break in systems or failures in the systems. And let's say data is not like our downstream systems are not getting the data on time. So that was really challenging for me as well, and I learned a lot of things like backend development, worked upon different tools and frameworks. We built frameworks, and like before that I was using frameworks, but in Paytm we were building the frameworks. So that kind of like exposure I got in Paytm, and apart from that, big data part was there. I enhanced my skill sets in other big data technologies, data visualization, and ETL processes. So that was overall a really good experience with Paytm.
One thing, Shashank, that I really liked is, so when you were working with Opera Technologies and Opera Solutions, and one thing that happened with a lot of people is that then they get complacent once they have got into a good company. Then they stop upgrading their skills, then they stop learning about new technologies, and that is when this problem comes, that their routine has become boring. What you have done, as I can understand, is you kept learning about new technologies, because your aim was to again keep on hiring, keep on aiming for higher companies. You went to Paytm, and then we will eventually come to Amazon. So one part I want to understand is, how do you keep yourself, apart from doing your regular work, updated about the new technologies, about, let's say, this company is working on AI and this company is working on a new technology, so this is something I can learn, add to my skill, and then let's say maybe apply for that.
Yeah, so that's true. And I used to, I'm used to of this line, or you can say I created this line, just keep learning, keep growing, right?
Right.
So as you said, if you talk about myself, so how I used to do that, like I keep exploring like what's new going on into a specific domain. So for that, what somebody can do is, like, there are communities are there. You can join their pages, and there are official channels of particular, like you talk about AWS services. So there is a official YouTube channel of AWS, right? You can subscribe that and keep watching what's new is coming, right? Community. You have different pages on LinkedIn, on Facebook, you can say, of these communities. So just get connected with them, and if you are like a master in particular domain, then obviously just keep yourself updated on that particular domain. Keep looking at what new features are coming in, what new tech stack and frameworks are coming in. And fascinating to you, looks really relevant to you. So just learn that thing and try to create a dummy project on even your laptop, right? You can spin up a single node cluster, and you can write, and you can use that particular framework or tool, because that tool or framework may help you in your existing project as well, right? So this is the thing we are following in Amazon. In Amazon, we have an existing system, but we keep on exploring new websites, new services, new cloud services, new tech stack that is coming in. And we used to spend good time on POCs as well. If our POC is really good and we are really confident enough, this tech stack, this framework is really good to use, and we can integrate it in our existing system, and which will reduce the computation time. We can minimize the cost. So you will basically get a good exposure in your company. Like, this guy is doing really hard to bring such things in our system, which is beneficial for us. So keep on doing that. It will help you to grow in terms of technical skills, and it will help you to grow in your career as well. Like, it will give you a visibility on higher level, on management level.
Right. One more question that Shashank I would like to ask in respect to this is, we talk about upgrading ourselves and upgrading technologies. So should a student stick to one language? Let's say Python is one language, and then master all the aspects of that language, whether it's artificial intelligence, machine learning, or because there are a lot of new languages coming in the market, he should learn 2 or 3 languages. So what should be his approach?
Yeah, so see, this thing I have learned from like good, smart peers I have worked with, good senior folks I have worked with. So they keep on telling me language is not a barrier.
Right.
For anybody, language is not a barrier. Languages will come and go. Thing which matters is your logical development, right? How good you are with developing the things, how good you are with designing the systems, right? So that thing is first really important part. But yeah, being a developer, you should have a good command with at least one language you are comfortable with. Doesn't matter whether it is Python, whether it is Java, whether it is Scala. So you, like you can code things like, I'm a big data engineer, right?
Right.
So I can write Spark code in Python as well. I can write Spark code in Java as well. I can write my Spark code in Scala as well. Right. So language is not a barrier. Things which matters, like do not try to like compare because every language has its own advantage, right? Java cannot do in AI and ML what Python can do, right? So this is the thing. So just like keep in your mind like what is the pros and cons and what is the difference of using each and every language. But your first thing should be like have a basic understanding of logical fundamentals first, and try to opt a language which is basically looks more easy to use, more convenient, more interesting to you, right? And maybe you can which is basically available or good fit for different use cases. Because let's say Python now it is being used as a backend development as well, because Django framework is there. You can write REST APIs in Python, right? And Python can solve AI ML problems. Python can it can help you in basic scripting. Python can help you writing your Spark code. So try to think on that point as well. Like if this language can solve this use case or not, right? If this use case or not. So think around that, and yeah.
Exactly.
Do not try to master yourself in like 4, 5, 6 languages. First, focus should be on get a really, really good experience on a particular language, like with which you are really comfortable. So it could be Java, Scala, Python, anything. And then whenever you get a chance, let's say I have basically followed this thing. I'm good with Python. I like from the very beginning I'm working with Python. But whenever I used to get a chance to work on different language, I used to do that. In Paytm, I got a chance to work on a POC. My manager asked, like, would you like to work on this POC because this is on Java, right? So I said, I would really love to do that, sir, because this would give me a good exposure to at least learn different thing of this language. So just think on that perspective. If you are eager to learn anything, like you can master and you can learn new things at any point in time.
Exactly. It's like people should be excited about, okay, I've learned one technology, now it's the need to learn this technology and what problem it is solving. So, and I have a lot of friends, and this is how the conversation goes, that they'll say that this is the new language in the market, ye padhni chahiye, ab Ruby aa gaya, ye padhna chahiye. They should understand why it has come, what problem a Python is solving that a Java cannot solve, as you have told us, and then try to learn it. And secondly, if it is related to you, the company that you're working in or that the company you're applying for, so that you keep your approach limited, but keep it concentrated. Okay. So Shashank, now you work with Paytm, and now after that, because you have worked with amazing companies, and I must say in your tenure, and then you moved into McKinsey. And McKinsey and Company is a company which a lot of MBAs also target as consultant, and it is one of the biggest consulting firms. I would like to tell my viewers. It started in 1926, and Shashank worked there as data engineer. So how did that come, Shashank? Again, you wanted to do something new?